name is Eric Romick, and I'm an Ohio State University Extension Field Specialist for Energy Development. Today in this session, we'll summarize Fact Sheet number 1 of the Shale Energy Development's Economic Impact Analysis Fact Sheet series titled Ohio Energy Trends, Comparing Old and New Energy Development. Now, the objective of this presentation is to provide a short introduction and overview of the overall project, a brief history and review of Ohio's coal, oil, and natural gas industries, and a summary of the related impacts to Ohio's energy employment sector. I'd like to take just a second to recognize some of the team members and contributors to this project. Now, this fact sheet series is based upon work from the project titled Maximizing the Gains of Old and New Energy Development for America's Rural Communities, which was supported by funding from USDA NIFA Agriculture and Food Research Initiative Program. Now, the overriding goal of this project is to assess how energy development affects local job creation and the general community economic well-being, and in turn the manner by which communities can reap the positive, long-term sustainable benefits from energy development.
It's difficult to tell the story of Ohio without citing the role of the coal industry shaping the state's economy. In fact, the first reported production of coal was in 1800, 3 years prior to Ohio's entrance as the 17th state of the Union. While early uses of coal were predominantly for residential home heating and to power steam engines for transportation sector, it was also central to the industrialization of Ohio. Considering more than 215 years worth of historical coal production, there have been two notable spikes in the state's production. The first spike was midway through the 19th century, where it ultimately crested in 1918 with more than 47 million tons of coal production, was driven largely by the demand for coal to power the industrialization of cities throughout the U.S., such as Cleveland, Ohio. The second spike originated in the midst of the 20th century during the rise of electrical power sector. As illustrated in the chart, the spike of coal production between 1930 and 1970 parallels the cumulative addition of coal electric generation facilities in the state of Ohio. While in the 19th century the demand for coal was driven by industrial manufacturing processes, the 20th century experienced the rise of the electrical power sector. The additional demand for coal in the electric generation sector, combined with the continued use of coal in the industrial sector, supported the increased demand of coal through 1970. However, as illustrated in the chart, following 1970, coal consumed by the industrial sector in Ohio declined significantly, leaving the electric power sector the primary consumer of coal.
The first discovery of valuable oil and natural gas resources in northwest Ohio was in 1884 in the Trenton Limestone Formation near Findlay, Ohio. Over the next several years, access to abundant, cheap natural gas cultivated the development of the glass industry in Ohio. In fact, throughout the 20th century, Ohio was recognized as the world leader in glass production, and Toledo was named the Glass City. While oil and gas development has a long history in Ohio, recent technological advancements such as horizontal directional drilling and hydraulic fracturing have unlocked oil and gas resources from the Ohio Marcellus and Utica Shale formations that were once thought to be uneconomical for recovery. As illustrated in the chart, this has fostered the unprecedented production of natural gas in the state. Likewise, the recent growth in horizontal hydraulic fracturing, combined with the continued production from the state's many conventional wells, has contributed to the resurgence of Ohio's crude oil production, nearly matching the state's production from the mid-60s and 80s, as illustrated in the chart. Natural gas consumption in Ohio was traditionally driven by the industrial and residential sectors. However, Ohio's electric power sector appears to be in the midst of a major transition away from coal, leading to growing demand for natural gas for electric power generation. For example, as shown in the chart, in 2008, the electric power sector consumed 23 billion cubic feet of natural gas, growing to 161 billion cubic feet in 2013. Meanwhile, the transportation sector is the primary driver of petroleum consumption in Ohio, experiencing steady growth from 1965 through 2013. Whether referring to the historic coal mines, green jobs, or the current oil and gas boom, the energy sector has long been associated with job creation. While jobs are valuable to local economies and new economic activity related to energy development can be exciting, it's important to keep things in perspective.
For example, the 2015 Shale report from the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services indicated that core shale-related employment increased from 6,873 jobs in the second quarter of 2011 to more than 13,000 jobs in the second quarter of 2014. While the increase in that specific sector is significant, it represents less than 1% of Ohio's 2014 total employment of 5.2 million. So, how will a transition from the production and use of coal to natural gas affect energy-related jobs in the region? It's important to consider that on a per-unit basis, natural gas actually requires fewer jobs to produce a kilowatt hour of electricity compared to coal. However, the use of natural gas extends well beyond electricity generation, as it is also used for residential heating and various applications of the industrial sector, and as a transportation fuel as well. In summary, if Ohio experiences continued job growth around oil and natural gas development, in addition to any gains in the oil and gas sector, it's essential to consider the adverse effects on other sectors of the local or regional economy. This will provide a clearer framework for the structural changes in the economy to inform current metrics of success or critical needs for future planning.
This presentation is based upon work from the project titled Maximizing the Gains of Old and New Energy Development for America's Rural Communities at The Ohio State University College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Sciences. On behalf of the project team, we acknowledge and appreciate the support of USDA NIFA Agriculture and Food Research Initiative Program. Thank you for joining in on this short presentation. To access the Shale Energy Development Economic Impact Analysis Fact Sheet series in its entirety, and for additional shale energy economic analysis reports, I encourage you to visit go.osu.edu/energy econ.